In this video, a Reddit user shared, "I did heroin yesterday. I am not a drug user and have never done anything besides pot back when I was a teen. AMA. I have never been a drug user. I drink once in a while and smoked pot years ago back when I was a teen in high school a few times and that's it. I'm 24 now, have a master's, and a well-paying full-time job. Yesterday I was walking through Washington Square Park where I pass every day, and there are always people there looking to sell drugs. They usually don't solicit drugs to you unless you stop to stand around near one of them for some reason, or look like you're looking for something. Yesterday I happened to stop by a row of benches to check some messages on my phone when a dealer on the bench to my right asks me if I need anything. My life has been pretty boring the last few years, and I feel like I haven't really lived, taken any risks, or done anything crazy, so I figured, what the hell, maybe I'll buy some pot. It's been a while. I said yeah, and after asking me several times if I'm a cop, he gives me his number and tells me to meet him at a fast food place several blocks away, and he will hook me up. I say alright and nervously check to make sure I have cash and go meet this shady-looking dude. We sit down and after hounding me asking if I'm a cop, he asks what I need. I tell him I just want a dime bag and he says something like, "Nah, sorry man, I only sell half ounces. You can take that, and I've got some coke and H." At this point, I didn't want to buy half an ounce of pot. I probably never smoked more than an eighth in my life, but then I started considering his last word, heroin. I've heard so much about it and how crazy addictive it is and seen it in the movies and TV. It really started to intrigue me. I've always wondered what it would be like to do heroin. Out of nowhere, I say I'll take the H, and we do the deal there. I give him the cash under the table, and he slides me a small order of fries with a little stamped wax baggie in it. Then he tells me to let him leave first. I put it in my pocket, then nervously race home, my heart racing, cannot believing what I just did. I held onto that bag in my pocket, palms sweating the whole ride home. When I get home, I open the bag and dump some golden flakes and powder on my glass coffee table. At this point, I don't even know what to do. I know you can snort heroin, but it looked all flaky. So I try to remember how they did it in the movies, but they always seem to inject it in film. So I start Googling how to snort heroin like an idiot, and do a little research on the stuff and how much to take. I used a card to get it into a fine powder and move a small bump to the side, which I inhaled through a dollar bill. I didn't feel anything yet, so I snorted a small line which was essentially half the bag. There was very little inside. I waited, and in a few minutes I had the most pleasurable feeling of pure relaxation and bliss wash over me. I just sat there and everything felt amazing. I nodded off, and it was great. I had the TV on but wasn't paying attention. I must have sat around for 4 hours doing nothing but feel total pleasure. It was like a full-body orgasm times 10 that kept going on and on. When I would nod off, it felt like I was in a pure, conscious, lucid, dreamlike state. Sometimes it felt like I was leaving my body. At this point, I did the rest of it and stayed up all night and must have been high for 10 hours straight. I might have slept at one point. It's hard to tell the difference when you nod off and everything feels good regardless. Just the feeling of being under a blanket was amazing. I was blown away by the power of this drug and just how orgasmic it felt. I never understood why people did drugs before and got so hooked on them, but now I see why. I have the urge to do it again, but I will resist and not do it, at least not for a long time. I understand the addiction potential and how someone could easily tear apart their lives with this stuff. Heroin is pure, powdered pleasure. I actually feel proud of myself for having the balls to do something this crazy, and I feel like it was a valuable life experience and my window into another world and part of society. I will never forget the day I did heroin. Now ask me anything. New edit. I have a lot of respect for most posters and drug addicts with experience here, but this Redditor addict is why people have the negative stereotypes they do about junkies. Edit, please no more comments telling me I'm going to be a homeless addict dying of an overdose now. Don't lecture me with all of your misconceptions and lack of any real knowledge or experience about the drug. I understand if you know someone who has been hurt by it. We all do. Any drug can ruin lives. Please ask me questions instead of trying to lecture me and do some research first before spewing lies. Update 2. I don't regret this at all, and I see a lot of talk about how cocaine isn't as bad as heroin, and people telling anyone considering trying a hard drug to do coke instead. I've known and seen a lot of heavy coke users, many who have become addicted and OD'd, and I find it disturbing that people think coke is acceptable because some higher class circles find it socially acceptable. I'm thinking the young Wall Street and college crowds here who associate it with money and being cool, and is easily manageable to use for recreation, while society tells them that heroin is for the poor and destitute, and leads to automatic addiction and suffering. So I plan to try cocaine the next chance I get, and compare the two in terms of effects and experience. Doing heroin was memorable and life-changing, and I know I can handle anything once. I've done my research on coke and know the risks, so if anyone has any questions or opinions on that matter, feel free to chime in. Whether it is to tell me I'm a fucking idiot or to give me advice, whatever. This is an experiment and an adventure in life. I'll report back once I try it.